There's the final whistle. South Africa, 4-time world champions, Donal Lenihan.
It's been an incredible final. It's had everything. Drama, sendings off, yellow cards. That man, I do feel sorry for him, but he had the responsibility to keep that tackle height down. Scotty Barrett, all the Barretts. Saya Khaleesi makes history, joins Richie McCaw as only the second man to captain his country to 2 Rugby World Cups. You have to say it's an incredible achievement to win a quarter, a semi and a final by 1 point. They're the most resilient group I've ever seen. Now the odds were stacked in their favour once Sam Cane was sent off.
Roger Federer in his South African jersey looks on. New Zealand gave absolutely everything, but in the end it's the cruelest of margins, a single point having played the entire match with 14 players.
Yeah, Jordy Barrett absolutely distraught. He had the hardest of such kicks, he gave it everything, but it just drifted outside the left-hand post. It just wasn't to be.
What a match that man had, Peter Steph Dutoy, absolutely incredible.
He was unbelievable and was still going right at the death.
So there you have it, 1995 in South Africa, 2007 in France, 2019 in Japan, and once again, for the 4th time, 2023 in France. South Africa are your world champions. They beat New Zealand by 12 points to 11. And for the moment, Jackie, we will hand back to you in studio.
Hugh, Donal, take a well-earned rest because we are all out of breath after that, Stephen. That was some final.
2 hours of absolute carnage, madness. It was enthralling. Like, it wasn't the best rugby. It wasn't like a couple of quarterfinals that we witnessed, but it just had absolutely everything. And I think the squad selection by Rassie Erasmus with the 7-1 bench was because I think he knew deep down that his players were running on empty. Like, they were just absolutely out on their feet. And then in the last 20, when the bomb squad came on, they didn't really add anything. They just sort of tried to see the game out. But I feel sorry for Sam Cane. I have to admit it, I do. I know he's going to come under a lot of stick, but I think at this moment you've got to congratulate South Africa, 4 Rugby World Cups, and yeah, it's an unbelievable achievement. It
really is. To go back-to-back in the modern era, to come up against everything that they've come up against at this tournament, Jamie, to be standing here as champions is some achievement.
Oh, you know, Bertie touched on it beforehand. Rassie set out the dream of 2023 being the target. 2019 was a bonus. To go back-to-back is an amazing achievement. You know, a lot of questions are over the different selections and all this stuff, but you know, hats off to the coaching staff, to the players. Felix Jones is an Irishman at least with 2 World Cup medals now as well, which is great. But it was a slugfest, but it was great to watch. It was a great ending to what has been a great World Cup.
Yeah, it really was. And South Africa don't care if it was a slugfest, Bernard, do they?
No, they don't. But there's beauty in that as well, in that contest. And there's the man of the match, no surprise.
Yeah, let's hear from him there, Bernard, for just a moment.
The match is the Springboks' Peter Steph Dutoy. And to present the trophy, it's former England rugby player and Rugby World Cup winner, Maggie Alfonsi. Well, Peter, congratulations. My goodness, what a game that was. What an arm wrestle it was. Tell me what's going through your mind right now.
Firstly, I want to give our Heavenly Father thanks for giving us the opportunity and for helping us as a team through this World Cup and through the whole campaign. It's an unbelievable honour and a privilege to play with this team and giving us the opportunity. This last 3 games was quite tough. Each one we played as a final, and each one was by 1 point. So it was quite tough for us, and we're quite happy with the win.
There was so much drama in that match. How did you manage to get through with that win?
Yeah, I guess as a team we like drama. We've been having drama for the last few years at the moment, so I think it helped us a lot as a team to cope through the drama and to handle it. And I think it shows the resilience of this team and the whole South Africa as well.
South Africa now becomes the only country to have won 4 Rugby World Cups. What does that mean to this group to achieve that?
Yeah, for the whole of South Africa, we're honoured to be able to play for you guys and to play for the Springboks. And I know that when we go back home, it's going to be a warm welcome for us. And we really want to thank everyone for supporting us and all the people that came through. I know it's expensive for us to come and support us, and I've got so much friends and family, and I know the whole 62, 64 million South Africans are supporting us, so we're quite thankful for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well-earned player of the match for him, Bernard, and he really typified their whole performance tonight, didn't he?
He was outstanding. When they needed big hits, when they needed turnovers, good reads, he was there, and I'm not sure how many tackles he made, but he certainly led the charge. And he had to, because the All Blacks brought an attacking game that was superior to the Springboks' attacking game. And even at the end there, there's one team in the world who can break out from their own 22 against that South African defence. It's New Zealand. So the game was in jeopardy till the very end. And it's a phenomenal win for them. It's a phenomenal, because their bench probably didn't make the impact that it did against England or France in terms of big moments, but they needed every single one of those players to come on and play a part in it, because the All Blacks showed incredible character. To be down a man and red card from so early in the game, I thought the All Blacks really showed up, and it was the Sevillas and it was the Geordie Barretts, etc., who took ownership and wanted to go at South Africa, but South Africa found a way to win. And I think they've been involved in the most exciting games in this competition, even back to Ireland in the group stages, and have won those tight games. And there's no chance. You see Felix Jones there with Faf de Klerk, and there's another Irish guy out in the backroom, Steve, a fella called Paddy O'Sullivan, who's a video guy who's on secondment from Montpellier, and obviously John Klein and RG Snyman and Razzie and Jack Nienaber coming. So there's an Irish element to this, but it's a very much a South African win, and full credit to them.
Lovely to see Felix Jones getting that moment, though. You can tell how much he's been loved by this group of players. Huge, as Jamie says, for an Irish person to have 2 World Cup medals.
Yeah, it's huge. I had the privilege of playing with Felix Jones, a great guy, a great player. Obviously his career was cut short, so unbelievable talent, and now he has 2 World Cup medals.
Yeah, let's hear from Sia.
Back-to-back Rugby World Cup wins. Tell me about this moment right now for you.
Honestly, there's no ways I can explain it in words. I want to give credit to the All Blacks. They took us to the end, they took us to a dark place. It just shows what kind of team they are, to fight with the men down from early in the game. And they fought and they put us so much under pressure. But yeah, credit to my boys too for that fight. Yeah, I'm just grateful we could pull it off.
Tell me about that contest tonight. There was drama, there were cards on both sides. How do you think your side managed to just hold it together?
Well, we lost our hooker in the early part of the game, and then we obviously had to adjust to that. There's a lot of pressure on us. They put a pressure on our lineouts, but we found a way. Somehow we found a way. And honestly, I don't think people that are not from South Africa don't understand what this means for our country. You know, it's not just about the game on the field. You know, our country goes through such a lot, and we are that bearing hope that they have. You know, and we're just grateful that we can be here. And I just want to tell the people of South Africa, thank you so much. Children from a third world country, you know, who just fight and fight over and over, you know, for people that need hope. And this team just shows what diversity can do for our team, you know, for our country as well. As soon as we work together, all is possible, no matter in what sphere, you know, on the field, in offices. We just shows for what we can do there, and I'm grateful for this team. I'm so proud of it.
Huge congratulations, Sia, well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, as always, he speaks so well, Bernard. But where does this put him in terms of the World Cup greats?
At the very top, and I met Brian O'Bannon in Paris, and he talked about, he was 12 years old when that 95 World Cup final happened, and his dad put him in the car, not because they could afford to go to the game, but to watch a team get off the bus. And 12 years later, he's part of a team that win 2007. Sia Khaleesi, this year and 4 years ago, he's been part and leading a team that will inspire the next generation.
Jack,
phenomenal.
And so will this man. Let's hear from Jack.
Sia Khaleesi, tell me about that journey, riding that match in the coach's box.
Yeah, no, listen, we come a long way with the players. We always planned for this World Cup since 2018. Massive credit to our fans. I mean, they were special from South Africa. 62 million people, videos. We had to play for them, but it was unbelievable.
Strategy-wise, tell me about that game. You had an injury early on. You had cards to deal with. You had the New Zealand side getting carded as well. There was so much drama. What was the main thing that you guys were doing up there to try and make this work for the Springboks?
I think the main thing is, yes, just a squad, you know. They experienced, they've been here before, they've been in a World Cup final before, some of them have played their 3rd World Cup now, so I think the experience just pulled it through. They're an amazing bunch of guys, and they're all warriors, and they all love South Africa.
Peter Seftertoit was the MasterCard player of the match. Tell me about his performance tonight.
Yeah, he was outstanding. I mean, defensively, which is my department, he was absolutely outstanding. And yeah, well done on him on his man of the match.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and when you look at legacies of people, we talk about Sia Khaleesi, what Jacques Nienaber and what Rassie Erasmus have done, and for Sia, as you see them in these pictures, this is legacy-defining stuff, Jamie.
I'm kind of speechless for them. Obviously, we can't. When you hear their captain speak and what it means to him and the why behind everything that they play for and what they represent. It must be, the scenes back in South Africa must be absolutely, across South Africa, in all the four corners of it. It must be absolutely huge. He is a true icon forevermore of the game now. I think he's top of the pops in terms of the greats. To go back to back like that, in the fashion they've done it, the way they won this second World Cup as well, they have grounded out. Not only did they were going to the well, I think they just dug a brand new well for today. Such was the depth that they had to go to, and they can be immensely proud. And so can New Zealand. I think they really put it to them, and they went down to 14 men. I do feel for Sam Cane, but it's been a tough day at the office for him.
Well, Ian,
yeah, let's hear from Ian Foster.
Commiserations. It was such a tightly fought contest tonight. Where in your mind did it not quite work for you?
Oh, look, I'm very proud of our guys, to go down to that red card so early, and to fight our way back and really give ourselves a chance of winning that game was pretty special. So, I don't think it went wrong in any one area. It was an arm wrestle. We saw that, and both teams had their moments, but we're incredibly proud of the way we fought, and to get within a whisker of pulling it off, it's heartbreaking.
This group has been through so much. You yourself have been through so much over the last sort of year, 18 months or so. Tell me about this group and this team, and to get here today. I know you're hurting right now and it's fresh, but tell me about this group of players.
Oh, this group of team just is very proud to be All Blacks. Proud to play for their country, and have worked incredibly hard to get where we got. And I just, while I'm so proud of what we did and how we worked, you've got to hand it to South Africa. They are a quality team. They've had a few close victories in this tournament, and they showed their class. So well done for them. It's pretty special for them, and it's probably equally it hurts for us. But I can't ask much more out of what we did. We put everything on the park.
I imagine Sam Cane's hurting, especially right now. Have you had a chance to put your arm around him and have a word?
Yeah, we'll sort that out. It's a gut-wrenching for him and frustrating for us.
Commiserations.
Thank you very much.
Difficult end for him after everything he's done with this team, Stephen, isn't it? They came so close, really.
Yeah, I think Donal mentioned it in commentary, that they showed great character, unbelievable character to come back into that game. Would they have went on and won the game if Sam Cane had been on the pitch? Possibly, we'll never know. But I think everybody's grown to like Ian Foster throughout this tournament, the way he came across there, the way he congratulated South Africa. But it's going to hurt. It really is going to hurt. What ifs, maybes. But at the end of the day, South Africa has shown in this competition that when the going gets tough, they're the team that's able to get it over the line. And another game, and they were able to do it.
They did it in the hardest way as well. They beat the hosts in the Stade de France with a 1-point win. They beat England in a real grudge fest where they're down 15 minutes to go. They're 9 points down. They come back, they win by a point. And then they beat potentially what we're talking about, Bernard, as one of the greatest teams of all time.
No, the All Blacks are a great team, and they pushed South Africans to the pin of their collar. I think you think about how the game unfolded. There's Sam Cane now.
We'll come back to you. Let's hear from him.
Commiserations tonight. Tell me what's going through your mind right now.
Oh, obviously extremely gutted and disappointed. First of all, that the fact that the boys had to play with 14 men for the last 50-odd minutes. Look, I thought the courage that they showed out there tonight was incredible. The whole team's absolute warriors, and look, it's tough. I'd like to say well done to South Africa. Back to back. They've been a fantastic team. They've had a heck of a tough road to the final, and they've showed time and time again they find a way to win. So well done, South Africa.
Thanks for your time tonight, Sam. Commiseration.
Bernard, I know you were talking about South Africa, but let's just talk about that man first and how hard that must have been.
Yeah, I was going to talk about a few technical moments, but it doesn't matter. It's about people now. And for him, like what he's been through, the abuse he got last year, replacing someone like Richie McCaw, the challenge that is, a double World Cup winner, to lead the All Blacks through a period when they were struggling, to come back and find the form he had, get him to a final, and then obviously, be red carded. That's going to be with him for the rest of his life. But and it's sad to see. And I think it was a red card, but it's unfortunate that happens to someone at the top of their game, leading their country, and the regrets are there. You can see it. It's very clear. And then on the other side, like someone like Dion Fourie, he only got his first cap 2 years ago. He spent most of his life he went to France because he thought he couldn't become a Springbok. He was so happy to be a Springbok. Then he played 78 minutes of hooker to win a World Cup. I mean, and look at you go through both 23s there. There's so many stories of resilience, and some of them tonight are looking back with incredible memories, and others are looking back with regret.
It's hard not to feel the human side of these pictures, Jamie, as you're looking at it. Bernard is right, we can talk about the technical elements and everything, but there's such a human level in the pictures that you're seeing here on the pitch here tonight in Paris.
I'm blown away by Sam Cane's character there, if I'm honest. He must be feeling terrible for himself. You can see it in his eyes. He was nearly in tears there. I'm sure he probably shed a tear off camera. And they should be proud to have a leader like that stands up in a moment like that. Incredibly proud. But you can see it in all their eyes. Like, they're all gutted. It's unfortunate. It's a final. You got to have. Someone's got to lose. They pushed them all the way. They can be proud. But South Africa, they know how to win.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And now they got the ultimate reward.
Yeah, ultimate reward. And there's going to be a lot of people out there won't have the same sympathy for New Zealand as us. I think there'll be a lot of people that will go hard in New Zealand because I think South Africa showed in the last half an hour of that game that they were vulnerable, and maybe they could have got a scalp. But at the end of the day, New Zealand lost. They lost. They were favourites getting into this match, and they lost. And it's going to be tough to take, but I think we just got to focus now on South Africa and give them lads the credit that they truly deserve in retaining a Rugby World Cup. And we've been there. We know how hard it is to get through to a quarter final, get past that. When these guys do it 2 cycles in a row, it's just incredible.
I don't think even they could have dreamed that the success would come like this, Bernard. You touched on Rassie saying that 2023 was the aim. I don't think any of them could have possibly thought that this is the position that they'd be in 4 years later.
No, and let's not forget the team that he inherited were in disarray. They were losing games by 30, 40 points. So what they've actually done as a group of players and a group of coaches is phenomenal. And also, they don't have the perfect system. I know more players are going back to play in South Africa, but they still have players dotted all over the world, and they're able to come together for Rugby Championship, come together for World Cups in particular, and find this chemistry, this mix. And they hung on, and maybe they rode their luck at time. But when you win so many tight games like they do, it's more than luck. It's a level of spirit, it's a level of fitness, it's a level of desire that has proven incredibly hard to crack.
And maybe when you're playing for the things that he's talking about, they are the fine margins. In a 1-point game, you're listening to them saying, for South Africa, you get it.
I mean, none of us here on this panel can relate to the path that he might have been, he's had to take, and a lot of these players have had to take. And for them now to be the inspiration for a whole other generation that he's talked about of coming through, they'll get a hero's welcome all around the country when they go back. And I think Ireland are going back there next summer for a tour, and that's going to be a hell of a time. But this is their moment now, and they can be incredibly proud of what they've achieved. And just I can't keep saying the way they have done this has been amazing. And you can set these amazing plans, and we're going to win in 2023 when you're setting out in 2018. So much sacrifice and pain has to go into that. And you have to, all sorts of challenges will come your way and hurdles, and you have to figure your way around it, like they did today with the hooker going off so early, Ferris coming in, only getting the cap, like Bertie said, 2 years ago, and now he's winning a World Cup medal as a hooker. these are challenges that bring this team together, and they've had numerous challenges over the last 4 years.
It's taking the chances as well, though, Bernard, trying things that sometimes work and sometimes they don't, the 7-1 included. You know, this has not been straightforward either.
Yeah, and you could argue that without 7-1 they don't win that game because, you know, the Kiwis were going at them and they had to have seven fit forwards who were able to cover that space because New Zealand were getting the ball to wit. I mean, like, just in terms of 64 million people, like, what they're talking about is poverty. You know, kids watching that game wake up tomorrow not sure, you know, what they can have to eat. You know, I mean, power shedding, a lot of homes without electricity. Like, it's a very unique and it's not ideal, but this will make them feel better about themselves and the country that they live in.
Yeah, it's really special for them, Stephen, isn't it?
Like, the historical landscape of South Africa, as we know, over the last number of decades has been so turbulent. Like, it has been so turbulent, and all that these South African lads want to do is try and make their country a little bit better, a tiny bit, 0.25%. If they can do that, bring a little bit of happiness to people's lives for a day, a night, a couple of days, whatever it may be, then that's all that matters to them. And you can see and listen to Siya Kolisi's voice how much it means to represent his country and be a Springbok.
We've just seen Wayne Barnes leaving the stage there, and how much did he contribute to what was a fairly epic World Cup final, Jamie?
Yeah, he tried to get out of the way a good bit and let the game play on, and then probably stuck his hand in a few times when the players didn't appreciate. But you know what? The fact that we're not talking about the referee and some decisions is great. I think if you're stepping back and you're like World Rugby looking at this spectacle, you're kind of going, and credit to France for putting on. I was unlucky enough not to get over there, but by all accounts, people who went over there, amazing experience, loved travelling around the country. They had it set it up super well, and it has ended with a great game of two very different style teams coming together, two absolute behemoths in the sport. They can be, you know, they'll be very happy with how this is kind of concluded. And I'm just, you know, you're feeling for those players going up there. You know, you got to take your medal, and you got to stay out there and watch, you know, what you think should be you. And we've been so close for New Zealand to get there, but you have to respect the other opposition and kind of go, I think they'll all say, fairness, fair play.
And that is fair, but for Scott Robertson coming in, you've got to be looking at this team, Bernard, and thinking, I'll absolutely have a go with this team. You know, there is still a lot of hope there. They've played some great rugby, and as you showed earlier before the game, they have been great to watch. Yeah,
look at their skill set is the best in the world, and they have players with X factor, and they'll find more. I mean, Scott Robertson is a different type of character. He also comes in a track record of being successful with the Crusaders, and he'll put his own shape on it. And because also there's only one member of staff staying on, it will be a new start. But there's some of the legends of the game bowing out: Sam Whitelock, Brodie Retallick, etc., who we won't see anymore on the international level, Aaron Smith, and they have given us so much pleasure over the last 15 years.
Yeah, incredible to see some of those legacies play out before us, but the biggest legacy of them all belongs to South Africa. They are the world champions for the 4th time. Let's hand you back for their trophy presentation with Hugh and Donal.
Yes, welcome back. Thanks, Jackie, Sam Whitelock and Bill Beaumont. Bill Beaumont was obviously in the news for a few different reasons over the last week. The timing of the announcement about the future of this tournament, the World Cup in 2027, will be expanded to 24 teams, as well as, I guess, the copper fastening of Tier 1 inter-competition over the calendar season between the top level of international rugby sides. Equally last night when Joe Marler refused to shake his hand going up to take his bronze medal. But anyway, he is there as chairman of World Rugby, and it has been, you'd have to say, on the balance of everything that we have seen, Donal, take the mismatches out of it for a moment, but in terms of the structure of the competition, the organisation and the quality that we've seen from players, it has been a very successful Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, we've had some really memorable matches. The 2 quarter-finals that we were privileged to have here were the standouts. You know, the draw is what it is, but I think, to be fair, the 2 best teams in the end made the final, and South Africa are deserved winners. It was one of the most gripping games I've ever seen. You know, I spoke about the character of both teams, really, because both were tested to the full, and that man there, Ian Foster, he's had a really difficult time. Just see Greg Feek going through there, of course, was with Leinster in Ireland for a number of years, and it's gut-wrenching for them. I mean, you can see the New Zealand squad, they've just stuck together. So many iconic figures of the game, the likes of Retallick, the likes of Aaron Smith, Sam Whitelock, their last time together. It's a sad way to go, but you have to say, and we'll see the other side of the equation when South Africa step forward in a minute to collect their medals. What worthy winners they've proved.
Absolutely. And just a final thought on New Zealand then, Donal. I mean, they do have Mr. Blackadder taking over as a head coach. Or sorry, I should say Scott Robinson taking over as head coach. Jeez, don't get those two wrong. But, like, you know, in fairness to him, he's successful with the Crusaders. He has delivered a style of rugby and Super Rugby that has been very good to watch. And I think the next 3 or 4 years is in safe hands with his appointment.
There's no doubt about it. Look, this is New Zealand. There's always fresh blood coming through in New Zealand. Scott Robertson is totally different. I was lucky enough to meet him in Japan 4 years ago, and the enthusiasm is infectious. You come away from meeting him, you're almost jogging on the spot after.
He's teaching you how to break dance as well.
Well, not quite, but you know, he's a different character, Ian Foster, and you look, it's a break because Ian Foster was part of Steve Hanson's setup. Steve Hanson was part of Graham Henry's setup prior to that.
Yeah.
So in effect, they've had continuity there since the 07 World Cup, because remember, Graham Henry was coached back then when they lost to France in the quarter-final. So this is a whole new broom. I assume Jason Ryan will be involved with Robertson, the forwards coach, who did a brilliant job when he came in. But look, New Zealand are for another day. This is South Africa's time, and look at the staff. They're the first to come up and get their medals.
Emmanuel Macron, President of France, Cyril Ramaphosa, the current President of South Africa, and Bill Beaumont, as the rain starts to trickle down again in the Stade de France, handing out the medals to everybody involved in the South African squad. It is a squad effort. It's a backroom team effort, and coaches, physios, analysts, medical staff, you name it, the logistics side of things as well. Everybody gets the recognition, because without everybody involved and everyone operating on the same hymn sheet, you cannot go and win this tournament.
Yeah, and it's a phenomenal. It's like a mini company. I mean, they've been away now for 10 weeks. You look at the amount of management coming up. I counted 27 at one stage.
What a moment for Felix Jones as well, Donal.
Brilliant. Felix Jones, great player in his time. So unfortunate with injury. Bill Beaumont having a word, because I'm sure he is fully cognizant of the fact that, of course, Felix Jones rocks up, will be part of Steve Borthwaite's England management for the Six Nations. So we'll probably see him a little bit more up close and personal. But Felix Jones, what a brilliant time he's had with South Africa. And that dates back to his time when Rassie and Jackman were in Munster. They were so impressed by Felix Jones. He was the first voice that they called in, and the South African players love him. So he deserves all the credit he's getting. Just see Jackman there about to come up. He, of course, will be off to Leinster in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, and you know, when you look at the players, a lot was written this week about the job that Jack Nienaber has done, Donal, because, you know, sometimes Rassie Erasmus tends to dominate the headlines and the thinking behind the South Africa's coaching ticket. But actually, it was pointed out in a couple of South African articles this week that Jack Nienaber would have taken a lot of these Springbok players as young teenagers just into the game, moulded them, coached them, encouraged them, and provided the platform for them to go on and represent their country. He deserves huge credit for that.
Yeah, he absolutely does. But as you just see Rassie Erasmus getting his medal there. I mean, their relationship goes back 25 years when they were in. They had to do time in the South African Army together. That's when the relationship started. Nienaber, I know, was loved by the players in Munster when he was there. It was the good cop, bad cop scenario.
Yeah.
So,
which was which? Yeah, but look, there you go. Aaron taking his medal as well. What a tournament he's had. Deon Fourie, a word for him. He was the oldest ever South African to make his international debut, and he had to play 78 minutes today at hooker.
Incredible. He's only 3 months short of his 37th birthday. I actually just the URC final, he was playing for the Stormers.
That's right.
And I was out on the field when Munster were getting the presentation. He was standing there with his young child, and I just went up to him and I had a great chat with him. A smashing fella. He just lost the final, but he was so gracious. And I tell you, the shift he put in tonight, 78 minutes in the front row.
Yeah, for what is not his first choice position, and we do have to keep harping back to that, isn't it?
Again, Hugh, you've got to give Nienaber and Erasmus incredible credit for having the gumption not to replace Malcolm Marks when he got injured in the first week of the competition with another hooker.
Yeah,
Fury stood up, none more so than tonight.
Yeah, you see Vincent Koch there, who just got his medal. There's Jean Klein, about to be crowned a World Cup winner. Incredible when you think he was part of the Ireland squad a few years ago, Donal.
4 years ago, 5 caps for Ireland, was surplus for requirements, and to be fair, he answered the call as he's entitled to do, and he's got the ultimate reward. Damien Phillips, brilliant tonight, I thought.
And there he is.
There's the Ox.
The man monster. I mean, Matthew Arira was obviously the pinnacle and focus of the scrum, but this guy coming off the bench, and Stephen Kitsoff, of course, is going to Ulster next season.
Yeah, sorry, that's just Malcolm Marks there, probably the best hooker in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you got to factor in it wasn't South Africa. It wasn't as if they didn't have adversity. They lost him early on, yet they found a way. And there's no doubt in my mind, this group, Hugh, represented so well by their captain, Saya Khaleesi. They're clearly playing for something bigger than themselves.
Absolutely.
The issues that are out there in South Africa, they are the standard bearers, and it's all about team.
Andre Pollard as well, called late into the squad. He was playing for Leicester one week. He was called up then the following week. He's straight in. He started the final. He played brilliantly, kicked all his points today as well. And what an impact he made on the squad. You think about going back to England last weekend. They brought him off the bench after half an hour. Manny Libbok, probably a little bit unlucky, but it proved the right decision in the end, and he's now a two-time World Cup winner.
Yeah, he certainly is. And there's Eben Etzebeth. I thought he had an incredible tournament for South Africa. You know, he's added so much to his game. What a moment here. What a man. Saya Khaleesi joins Richie McCaw as the second player to lift the William Webb Ellis Cup on 2 occasions.
So the chairman of World Rugby, Bill Beaumont, will hand the Webb Ellis Cup to the South Africa captain, Saya Khaleesi, and for the second time he raises it as South Africa are crowned world champions in Paris 2023. An incredible achievement. The fireworks go off around the Stade de France, and what has been a very memorable tournament over the last 2 months.
Incredible to think 7 weeks ago it all kicked off when New Zealand were beaten by France here in this very stadium. New Zealand now, we're seeing South Africa with the cup. New Zealand off picture, just kind of head bowed, walking off the field, but it's all about South Africa. Damien Phillips lifts that trophy. Trevor Nkana, it's been a squad effort, all 33 or 34, with Pollard coming in, played their part.
No question. Well, the rain comes down. It's not going to dampen the celebrations, which will go on long into the night here in Paris, and indeed long into the weeks ahead in South Africa. The lights go off, which means it's time for the closing fireworks.
Well, look at this for a showpiece here in Paris. South Africa are the world champions. I'm sure the hosts, France, would have loved to be part of this light show, which is going to be quite spectacular, like everything else this World Cup has given us. But look at this. Absolutely beautiful scenes, aren't they, lads?
Yeah, it's incredible. Still plenty of traffic as well, as we see. But yeah, geez, it wouldn't it be amazing to be in that stadium tonight to witness, first of all, the rugby match, but also the afterwards entertainment. The French know how to do it. Bernard, you've been out there coaching. They're very proud of what they set out to do, aren't they?
Yeah, look, they love what goes on the field, but they also talk about the spectacle, the show afterwards. And Paris is famous for it, obviously, you know, in sport, outside sport. But they will just want to finish off on a high now. In a year's time, we've got the Olympics coming, but I think they've done a great job with this World Cup. And we had 2 heavyweights go head to head, and you know, it went down to 1 point, but South Africa are the ones for the next 4 years who have the bragging rights.
Yeah, well, the perfect stadium, the perfect night, and perhaps the perfect final of them all. South Africa, the greatest team this world has ever seen so far, And that party in Paris is going to go on for quite some time.